Hey everybody, the lights are not on and the couch is empty because today, in the words of Joe Bonamassa, PJ and I are going guitar safari. So why don't you come along?
On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, who's behind the camera, we're on a field trip, got all the appropriate paperwork signed by our parental units. We came down here to beautiful historic Carlisle, Pennsylvania to visit our good friend Chris Delaporta here at Woodshed Guitar Works. Let's go inside and check it out. You got my good side.
Lots of clams. Clams everywhere.
So I'm going to talk about this guitar for a second. I think it's a 2017 rosewood neck. My first experience with a rosewood neck. And it is slip-tastic. It's very nice. Neck pickup, I like that. Get back to the back. Ooh, out of tune. We're going to hide that. Alright, in today's episode, we are hanging out in beautiful downtown historic Carlisle with our dear friend, Chris Delaporta at Woodshed Guitar Works. And we're really happy to be here. We've known each other for a very long time, and we thought we would take a field trip. We got our permission slip signed, and here we are. We did.
Imagine how difficult it is to get your wife to sign a permission slip to let you leave and go
to a guitar store.
Yeah, or talk to somebody else about guitars for a while.
I'm good at forging. I can help you out with it.
Very nice, yes. and we may or may not buy something before we leave. I don't know. So we are here with Chris. We've known Chris. I think we were talking our pre-show interview. We think we've known each other like 18, 19 years.
Something like that, yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask Chris is, like, I don't think I've ever been to a music store that wasn't started by a musician. So could you just, like, maybe we'll start with, like, what was your musical journey? When did you start playing? Who were your influences?
Wow.
Yeah. Favorite color?
So,
I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee.
do you like spaghetti? Started playing music in the school band, playing trombone, of all things. I wanted trumpet, but all the seats were full, so I had to go with trombone. And exactly. And I realized how much fun that could be, because you can hit the guy in the back of the head in front of you.
You blow spit on everything.
Right. And then we got MTV in the neighborhood I lived in, finally, and there was nobody running around on stage wailing away on a trombone. They were playing guitars.
Trombone Shorty wasn't alive yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So I decided I wanted to do that because it looked a lot cooler, and begged my mother to help me get a guitar, and she did.
Do you remember what the first one was?
Actually, if you really want to get technical, the first one was a Tiesco Del Rey that I pulled out of a garbage can.
Dumpster dive.
Dumpster dive. Nice. Pre-dumpster, it was actually the old galvanized metal one, but it was sticking out. I saw it. I grabbed it out, took it to a local guitar shop. They laughed at me nicely, and then they helped me put it back together, so I had something to play. So I had that for maybe 6 to 8 months. And then the first bought guitar, I believe, would have been, do you remember the Phantoms back in the day? They made copies of famous other looking guitars.
Like Bradley
Yeah,
did in the day?
yeah. So I had one of those, and I played that for quite a while. It looked like a Warlock, a B Series Warlock.
Pointy.
And I was playing that in Catholic church services, and they were looking at me really funny as I pulled that out of the case because they heard I played guitar. Like,
Spiritus Sanctus.
Yeah. Like, do you want to come play in church? Yeah. I showed up with that guitar to take it out, and they're all like,
What, you couldn't find the Warlock? You had to bring that one?
Yeah, right. So there was that for quite a while, and then just lots of other guitars here and there. I had a newspaper delivery job, so I was able to buy cheap guitars and take them apart.
That is a common theme in successful people. They were delivery boys.
Yeah?
Yeah, I never was.
don't
that
know.
explains your success.
Yes.
And the lack of mine.
I delivered the papers.
See, look at that. I'm here with 2 Type A's and a B, C, D, whatever I am on this end of the ship.
Delivered the milk.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was able to buy like cheap guitars, and I mean, even at young age, I had a pile of stash of guitars. None of them amazing, but things that I could take apart and figure out how they worked, and I guess that kind of sparked the interest in.
So what was your first non-Catholic church pointy guitar gig? Like, when did you start,
like a garage gig?
Okay.
Like, somebody decided they were going to have a party and they wanted my garage band to come play, and we were not good, but we got a gig out of it, and everybody showed up.
That's
so
good.
that was neat, So I don't think we got paid. I don't remember if we did or not. If we did, I didn't see any of it.
Did you get fed?
There was food.
Okay,
yeah.
That's the way we roll in the
I
Christian
think there was like
world.
Domino's Pizza or something like that.
There you go.
Or can we say Domino's? I haven't paid.
I think you can. Now they're official sponsor, Domino's.
Yes.
They don't know yet. Sorry, Papa John's, but we'll call.
It was good. That's good. So I guess, we got paid in pizza, I believe. So that was probably my first real gig.
And this was where? Were you in Texas?
No, this was here.
Okay, here.
This is over like in the Colonial Park area.
Okay.
The bass player in that band, a good friend of mine I just reconnected with, he's now like a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, and I hadn't seen him in like 25 years, and he showed up here in full fatigues, and I'm like,
can I salute him?
Yeah, and the singer in the band actually went on to be a Franciscan monk, so everybody went really different ways.
Yeah,
too. I kind of stayed on this path, but everybody really,
right.
It was pretty neat. But yeah.
So you worked in a guitar shop. That's how we met.
Yes.
And is that what got you into this? Like, what was your? You eventually left there. It was our dear friend Randall Robertson, who we're all very fond of, and he's the glue that brought us all together. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but that's where we met Chris. He was working at Randall's store in Pennsylvania here. So.
Yes, Triple R guitar.
That's right. Triple R.
So did that get me to this point?
Well, is that was your first experience working at a music store, and then you saw how it worked, and you actually were doing repairs and sales?
I did it for a short period of time prior to that, but Randy's place was where he gave me a place to learn this.
Yeah.
He saw that I had an interest in it, and I guess he saw that I had some talent with it, so he kind of helped push me forward. Gave me a job. He was kind of like the big brother that would kick you into the deep end of the pool. If you didn't think you could do something, he'd be like, swim, and kick you in the pool.
Right.
Which at the time I was reluctant, but now I'm glad that he did it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're nervous when you're working on other people's stuff.
Sure.
Especially higher end stuff, you know, and, you know, I'd get a little nervous about it. I mean, I haven't done this yet. He's like, well, just do it, you know, so there was a lot of that, you know, forceful encouragement.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
that he was good at doing, and it was a good thing, you know. So it brought me here.
So you wound up here in beautiful historic Carlisle,
yes.
2 or 3 doors down initially,
Yes.
in a much smaller space.
Yeah, you could probably fit that place inside this place. Not that this is huge, but that was really small.
And there's another music store up the street. But
Yeah.
your initial intent was to just do repairs, right? That was your passion,
Yeah.
more or less, and you're really skilled at that.
I'm a terrible salesman.
We bring
so.
all of our stuff to Chris. Matter of fact, I'm picking up a guitar later while we're here. So Chris started a few doors down, doing repairs, and then tell us how it worked to move 3 doors down. And
I mean, I could even back up a little further. I actually started this in the woodshed behind my house.
hence the name
Hence the name.
that I had to look up because
Yes.
I would just call it Woodshed.
And that was, you know, that was sort of a test the water sort of situation to see if this was actually going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, luckily for my years at Triple R, I had a clientele that liked my work and trusted my work, and were bringing me back work at my house, which was nice. But then I started getting a little bit busier, and I had more people's guitars in my home than I felt comfortable having, so it was time to look for a commercial space, and I came down to Carlisle because it was affordable to get started down here, and it gave me a chance, and that's key. Like if your overhead's too much, you're not going to last, you know. And so that started off in that little building a couple doors over. Spent 3 years there. This building became available. The owners of this building came and talked to me about it, said, hey, do you want to move into this bigger place? So I gave it a shot, and I had to do a lot of remodeling work in here.
I was going to say, there's a lot of sweat equity,
Yeah.
and I may or may not have been the beneficiary of buying a lot of barnwood from this
Yes.
place. It's in my basement now. It's a really nice look.
He buys wood.
Yeah, it was like, it was like Lowe's down here.
Yes.
So 3 years there, and how long have you been here?
Just came into my 4th year here.
Okay,
So
that's like 7 years.
7 years. Yes. And and it's been, you know, I'm a slow and steady kind of guy. It's been a slow and steady growth. I'm not the kind of person that wants to shoot for the moon right away, because I don't think that's a good idea. And it's been good. I mean, people down in this area have welcomed me into this area, into the community. It's been good. I met a lot of good people down here. So, and I'm very grateful and fortunate for it.
So this wasn't a pre-interview question. I promise not to throw you any curveballs. But like, what do you think of all the things you learned from our friend Randall? What do you think is the most important thing that you learned that may be part of your success and being able to sustain 7 years so far and growing?
Easily, be honest.
Yeah.
He was an honest man. So, and I learned that from him. Sometimes honesty and truth is hard to swallow, and you know, he would deliver it sometimes like that, and maybe not everybody liked it, but at least it was real.
Right.
And I think that's literally at the top of the list of the most important things. So
Yeah, and it's not easy to do.
No,
It's really a recipe for success, but I think people for different motives don't always go that route. So that I agree with you. That's one thing I liked about it. That's one thing I like about you coming here. I always know I'm going to get the real answer, the fair answer, whether it be a repair or pricing on pre-owned stuff. It's all just straightforward. It's not no games, and I think your customer loyalty, you know, it shows that to people that come in and follow you from 15, 20 miles away. So
yeah, I mean, we're a little out of reach, but it's worth the drive.
yeah, I like it.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So he said he's not a salesman.
Right.
So let's talk about that real quick. We can make him uncomfortable. So what exactly are we doing here? And so we've mentioned fixing guitars and stuff.
Sure.
I know some examples. If you don't want to be a salesman, I'll do that for you. Some examples. So I know we've redone electronics, and a Telecaster of mine went back and forth on that quite because I'm picky.
True story.
Set up a 330. You've done setups on my 335. Change pots on my PRS. Change pickups in a Les Paul. There's and the list goes on. Like lots of stuff coming down. Has your PRS right now?
Yep.
So maybe we can show that later.
Sure.
Clip that on at the end or something.
So we are still hanging around at Woodshed Guitars in Carlisle, beautiful historic Carlisle. And part of the reason we came down here was to pick up my 1995 PRS Custom 24 that was professionally and lovingly set up by the proprietor, Chris Delaporta. Right in the background. I had this out on a long-term loan to a friend, and I got it back, and I don't know that it's ever going to leave me again.
But the business model wasn't this.
No.
Business model was fixing guitars.
Repair and service. And
Right.
I think...
Historic Carlisle, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen.
I think, people in the area were hungry for another alternative down here as far as, stores go. And more gear kept coming through the door. People asking me to consign it, asking me if I wanted to buy it. I didn't have a lot of money in the beginning to buy, so I consigned a lot more, and it helped me get to a point where I was able to buy more gear. And I figured, I have the space on this side of the room, so why not use it? It does pull me away from doing my bench work sometimes, but, you stay late, you show up early, you do a little extra, and you catch up.
And we'll take... We don't know the order that this is going to get
That's
cut
it.
together, but
We'll have to ask the
there'll be some
producer.
pictures around the shop, and so I'm sitting here looking at some used pedals
Mm-hmm.
here in the. There's a couple things that are catching my eye, like it's still that reverb pedal down there.
That's nice.
This is that rosewood neck on the Tully behind us.
Yep.
It's beautiful Paul Reed Smith, which Pat and I have a thing for Paul Reed Smith, so that's the first thing catches our eyes always.
Yeah, Gibson.
Some Gibsons around. There's an interesting looking Flying V over there that we're not going to discuss because my wife has said no to Flying V's.
Flying V owned by a country player. I'll give you a minute.
Since my wife loves the Flying V so much, I thought I'd get a quick shot with me and our newest purchase.
Yes.
So
I'm going to steal one more question, or at least one more. So you're holding this, right?
Yes.
We came in and we're like, hey, Chris, it's an occupational hazard to own a music store and try to make money. Like,
Also be a player.
right, and a gigging musician, actively gigging musician. Like, so I asked him, I'm like, what is the greatest thing that you have come across that you purchased, and maybe what's something that you passed up on? And this happened to walk in with him, and he'll tell the brief story about that. But
Yeah.
like, what's the one thing where you're like, oh, I gotta have it, I don't care, like, I don't need 2 kidneys, I'll take one out, we'll get it.
Like based on doesn't matter the cost, I had to have it kind of thing.
Yeah, like, what's the craziest thing you bought since you owned this store because it came in the door and you couldn't pass it up?
what have you
boy.
kept that you should have sold?
I should have sold.
It's a multi-pronged question.
Which one of the 327 Les Pauls that you have sitting at home did you keep that you should have sold?
Probably a 1990 Les Paul Custom in black that I didn't necessarily have the intention on keeping at first, but once I got it and played it, it was like, ooh. And I had owned an older version of that guitar, like a late 70s, and not every guitar is amazing. Unfortunately, even my beloved Gibson and my love for Gibsons, but not everyone is amazing. And that late 70s Custom just sort of, for lack of a better term, was kind of a dud. And I wasn't thrilled by it. The 1990 came across my plate. I went to go see it, picked it up, bought it to resell, and then thought, actually this one has a little more, that chime thing that you get when you don't even plug it in, and where the 79 didn't. So I just kind of made a swap and sold the 79, but kept the 90. And should I have sold the 90? Nah, maybe not. But it was definitely one of those guitars I didn't expect to keep.
Right.
So, but
And then things like this kind of fall in your lap, and you're like, I can't pass it up.
raining meatballs sometimes. This was just, I had bought some gear off another guy north of here, about an hour north of here. And I bought gear from him to resell.
He goes on his own guitar safaris.
I go safaring,
Yes.
on Sundays. And
On Sunday we safari.
and this wasn't in the original pile of stuff, but he called me up a couple weeks later and said, hey, I also have this SG. Would you be interested in that? So I asked him to tell me about it, send me some pictures, and he had loaned it to a friend. That's why it wasn't there the first time I went up. And unfortunately, the friend didn't take very good care of it and left it sitting in a damp basement, and it ruined the finish on the bottom. Not bad, and I'm not that picky about that sort of thing.
I don't know. Can we do that?
Yeah, you can do anything. Look at that. That's what that camera was set up for right there.
Don't leave your guitars in a wet basement.
There's your tip of the day.
Yes.
Hashtag tip of the
Getting
day.
lights on it, but maybe they get it.
And it's not terrible for a guy like me that is going to take them out and play them
Right.
in bars and clubs and in different live places. I'm probably going to put my share of dings and dents on it anyhow. So, but I couldn't walk out the door without it. It was a ridiculously fair price, and I took it.
I think you have a gold top that you got at a good price that you should have sold.
I should have sold.
You should have sold the gold top.
Apparently, I should have sold it to you.
That's right.
Yeah,
I keep trying, you know.
gold top. And these are more recent Gibsons, which I don't really go after. I like 90s era, but a couple have presented themselves to me that are actually decent guitars that I liked, and the gold top being one of them. And that's pretty much my number one that I use.
There we go.
In my band Roadcase. So,
Look them up.
Yeah, check us out. Roadcase.
Put a link in the description.
Yes. And that's the one I use the most at this point. And it's a phenomenal guitar. I had to do some personalizing, put my pickups that I prefer in there to make it do what I need it to do. And it's just a great guitar. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it with me today.
Sorry, we didn't want to have him do too much because really, truth be known, we're sitting here before he opens, and he had been on a trip. And we're trying to be respectful of his time, but we keep gabbing. But so we didn't like tell him, hey, bring all your your number ones, because maybe at a future we did bring coffee. That's his payment for today, by the way.
Well, yeah, future episode, maybe sit down and break some cases open with Chris. Bust open some cases, whatever you want to call it.
More than happy to.
So we love it here. We don't get to come nearly enough, so we use this channel as an excuse to go do what we want to do. So we sent Chris a message. He's like, sure, I'm down, and then we kind of gave him the high level of what we want to do. But we think the world of this guy, and we really appreciate his friendship, and we're happy for his success. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So if you're in the local area, look him up. You can also call him, buy stuff online. He shipped things to California.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a very small presence on Reverb. That maybe that's not the first choice, but he's got a full-fledged website.
Yep.
He's got Facebook.
Absolutely. Instagram.
Inventory is all Instagram. Inventory is always rotating. He's even got 3 lefties. That's not the camera faced the wrong way. There's actually left-handed guitars, and so he knows good stuff when it comes in. He's got the whole gamut from the beginner to the pro. Got an eye for really nice gear. So
like you said, if you want to see more of this mythical Les Paul collection,
that's right.
I mean, he's a Gibson guy. There's Les Pauls, Firebirds, Explorers,
V's.
Yeah. I mean, if it says Gibson, if you want to see more of that, click on subscribe. Join us for this journey, because we'll probably be back talking to Chris in the future. And with that, I guess.
So with that, our standard tagline, which is again very true in this place, just to remind you that no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Myra.
Peace out from Carlisle.
You're right.
Play the Myra chord. Yes! That's what you get for free. You gotta subscribe.